Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin. This is my fantastic co-host Teddy, who does all of the work pretty much, guys. I mean, let's be real. And today we're checking out a keyboard. It's this guy right here, the Asus Cerberus Mech RGB keyboard. And let's dive right in then with the design. So as you can see straight away, design-wise, it's very basic. Yeah, this isn't going to blow anybody away with the lights off, that's for sure. It's plastic fantastic, it's black all over, there's nothing really that stands out with the design. It's very, very standard in terms of its layout and everything else. It actually feels very well built though, I'll give it that much. For something that's plastic fantastic all over, it actually feels very nicely built. However, one thing is that it sits very flat with the stands down. Then when you flick the stands up, it sits sort of like too high. For me anyways. It's always a difficult thing with peripherals. Is what feels not so good to me may feel fantastic for you. It also doesn't come with a wrist rest as well. So if you're one of those people that really like having one of those, it doesn't come with one, unfortunately. But yeah, for the most part, I would say there's not that much you can say about the design because it really is that basic. So let's move on and talk about the keys then, because that's very important. So this is coming with the Kahua brown switch. You can also get a black, red, and blue as well, which is basically a copy of the Cherry MX brown switch. Now there is a big difference though. It's stiffer than a Cherry MX brown, which I don't know why they've done that. I mean, I talk to a lot of people out there, a lot of you guys as well, my great fans, and I haven't heard a single person ever tell me, you know, oh man, I got Cherry MX brown switches, but oh, they're just too light. I wish there were a stiffer version. I've never heard anybody say that to me. But here we go. If you're that 1 in a million person that really wanted stiffer Cherry MX brown switches, then hey, this is the switch for you. That being said though, it doesn't feel good. I'll put it that way. I didn't like it that it was stiffer. It just didn't feel that good to me. Not only that though, but it felt looser. Now you may be thinking, what the hell are you going on about, Kevin? Stiffer and looser. Are you insane? No. It's quite hard to explain without actually using it, but it's stiffer in terms of trying to push the switch up and down, but it feels looser like in terms of like the side to side compared to a Cherry MX brown. That's just something I noticed, but yeah, overall I would say key-wise it's okay. The switch it's decent. I'll put it that much. You know, I'll put it that way. If you've never used a Cherry MX switch before, hey, you could probably use this and it would be just fine. And you probably wouldn't have that much of a problem with me. The layout, as I said before, is very standard. No macro keys or anything like that. There's not much there. It's very basic, and everything is exactly where you think it would be on a standard keyboard. And overall, to type on that, it was fine. To play games on it was fine. It'll get you by just fine. But if you're coming from a Cherry MX brown, yeah, you probably won't like this at first anyway. Maybe you'll get used to it over time. Let's move over to the lighting then, because that's what a lot of people like. Nice RGB lighting. As you can see, it looks very, very good on this keyboard. Very, very nice looking RGBs. It goes decently bright and has nice color to it. I would say the only issue it really has is there's not really that many lighting modes at the end of the day. So you have the static lighting mode, like normal, as you would expect on any keyboard. Then you have a breathing mode, also quite standard these days. Then you have explosion, which is actually really cool. I quite like this one. That looked really quite good. Then there's color cycle, which this is cool. It shows off the RGB a bit. And then you have what I have it on now, which is wave. And I don't think anyone would actually set it to this unless you're displaying this in a shop or you're a reviewer like me trying to show off the lighting. Maybe you're trying to show off to your friends. Maybe then you'd use it. But yeah, for the most part, you're probably never going to use this mode. But yeah, it does look good, and the lighting is its strongest area. You can also add custom lighting modes if you really want to as well, so that's quite good. However, to control the lighting, you need to use their software. And this is its biggest failing by far, is the software. Now, I've used a few that have been bad in the past, but this is just horrendous. Oh my goodness, is it bad. So, first of all, it's really slow, and it always has to load. Like, come on, guys. God, the loading is like longer than many of my games on an SSD these days. Really? Really? Every time you hit apply, it has to load. Alright, whatever. There's no UI scaling, so if you're running a 1440p or a 4K monitor like me, then good luck. Everything's so small. And to finish it all off, it's just really difficult to use. I don't know why, it just feels frustrating. So yeah, it's not very good. Honestly, like, it feels like they paid an intern to make it or something, or someone just threw it together at the last minute. It's just not good at all, and I really didn't like using it. However, in the real world, you're never actually going to be using that much. Maybe when you first buy this keyboard, you'll use the software, set up the lighting the way you like, maybe muck around with a few other things, and then that'll be pretty much it. You probably won't touch it again. So that's good. But yeah, that's a big failing. As soon as you guys try using it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you buy this keyboard, you'll be like, wow, this is bad. Which brings us now to the conclusion. And what do I make of this rather sort of mixed bag of a keyboard? So price-wise, it's coming in at 169 New Zealand dollars over at playtech.co.nz right now. And that is very competitive. So after everything I've said about this keyboard, that is a very competitive price point, which does make it much more appealing to a lot of people out there. At that price point, I don't think you can get a mechanical RGB keyboard for less, at least a decent one anyway. However, that being said, you can get Cherry MX switch keyboards for cheaper than this one. They just won't have the RGB lighting. So I would say if you're a person that really wants a mechanical keyboard with RGB lighting, but you don't want to pay a fortune, then yeah, check out this keyboard, the Cerberus Mech. It's a very solid keyboard, honestly. The RGB looks very, very good, and I think you would get used to the switch over time. However, if you're a person out there that doesn't care about lighting and your main focus is on the switch, you just want a very, very solid mechanical switch, then I would probably recommend, honestly, looking at things like the SteelSeries M500 comes to mind, that has Cherry MX switches, or of course the Ducky One, that's a fantastic keyboard. Those two, and there's many others that are cheaper than this keyboard, and they feature the Cherry MX key switches, which are far superior to these Kahua ones. So yeah, that's probably how I would put it to sum up this video. So yeah, it is a good keyboard in its own way, especially for the price point it's coming in at, but be very aware of the cons that come with this keyboard. Now, I thank you all for enjoying this video, hopefully. Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know which switch is your favorite. I think I asked this before, but I was only asking, which Cherry MX switch was your favorite. So I just want to know in general, which, company's switch, so maybe is it Cherry MX, is it Kale, is it these Kahua type ones maybe? And which switch within that line is your favorite one? Me personally, it's still the Cherry MX Blue. That's been my favorite for a long time, but in a close second would be the Cherry MX Brown. I also really like that switch also. But let me know in the comment section down below. And I thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.